Welcome back, y'all. Back at it for another episode of the BBNIC show. I am your host, FOBC Note, the Hood Ray Charles, Blind Poppy if you nasty, Blind Lightning. And I just want to say thank you for being part of the Blind Stepper community, my family. This episode definitely sponsored by Bel Air Rose. Go get that Bel Air Rose out of your closest, nearest liquor store. It definitely goes good for mimosas, for breakfast, brunch, or whatever you want to do. Shout out to Ross and everybody that's up there. Also, look into that book too. Rick Ross' book that he just dropped. Definitely a book to read, because that book could change the way you think, the way you move, the way you breathe. That shit is knowledge he dropping. I mean, that was a free shout out to you too, Ross, you know. But this episode right here, we're going to touch more on the suicide. I've been on Instagram lately and I see a lot of people is committing suicide and attempting suicide. So we gonna walk down this path because I've been through that. And if what I can say can help you, I'm all for it. So definitely, before we get into that, shout out to WTF Media Studio. We back here, season 3. Shout out to Eden, definitely the producer that definitely started out, that helped me grow to be even Blind Poppy, and more names to come. So this time, we gonna close our eyes. We gonna walk down this path. We ain't gonna flip over no furniture. We ain't gonna bump into no walls. We ain't gonna step into the kids because they over there playing with the slime. And we gonna talk more about mental health, this suicide whole thing. Suicide is something serious. That shit can weigh on you and drag you down. Nobody know how you feel but you. People could look on the outside and sit and say you weak. People could look on the outside and say you nobody, because this is like, you feel like your life ain't worth it. That's the wrong way to approach a person. Sometimes you got to sit down and understand and break down a person's life. Because when I committed suicide, when I attempt to commit suicide, it was heavy on me. Like I felt like I was carrying the whole world, and it's like I'm keep falling. I couldn't walk steady. I couldn't walk straight. You think about relationships. You think about your financials. You think about if life is really worth living for. The saying that death got to be easy because life is hard. At that time, at that point in time, I really felt that. It really was going through my mind. It was really going through my heart. A lot of situations I felt like I wasn't worthy of being here. So I tried to. They committed me for 72 hours. I can honestly say them 72 hours, I got my mind right. I got my mind straight. I slept good, the best sleep I ever had. And it's crazy to say it, being in that type of space. But then you got people that don't know you that ask you why you doing this. And you talking to them and they're not judging you. And they give you their opinion on how you could do things different. Sometimes that's what you need. You don't need nobody to sit and judge you and like make it feel like what you doing or how you feeling is not valuable. Like it don't mean nothing. So being in this dark, in this setting, made me want to commit suicide. I don't know how you taking it, being on that other end of that screen. So this is the part when we just gonna open our eyes and get straight to it. Because I feel like this episode right here definitely was well needed. I'm watching this YouTube, whatever the case may be, and I hear a mother crying because she's like she trying to find her son. People saying her son drove his car off the road and his body jerked out the car. And then when you breaking down and you looking into it, whatever the case may be, he was on the phone with his ex-girlfriend. And he telling her like this is how he feeling. And she laughing at the situation. She telling him to do it. So he drove the car off the road and killed himself. It's like, it's unacceptable. If you feel somebody is in harm's way to they self, step up and grab that person because they need you. Like, so you gonna hear a voice in this episode, first time ever. Eden, I want you to look up the percentage of how many people commit suicide for relationships. And we gonna get like deep into that because like sometimes that love that you could have for a person could take that shit to a different state, a different mind. It could really blow your mind.
Right. Now, this is an article from 2018 from supportiverelationships.org. The CDC estimates that 42% of all suicides are related to relationship problems. And in other words, that means in about 2016, which is where the research was really done, approximately 18,900 people died by suicide for reasons that were included from relationships problems.
And you ask yourself, was it worth it? Sometimes if you know if you don't love that person, let that person go. Don't drag that person through the mud. Sometimes tell that person, listen, I don't think it's best for us to be together, but let me be your friend. Sometimes we see the effect and the damage that we could do to a person, and we just don't care about that life. We'll drag a person through the mud. Some people will really kill themselves because they don't have nobody and you all they have. If you don't want to be with that person, find a way to just be a friend and let that person know that you're not going nowhere. You are still there for that person. Find different ways. Try to get that person help to be independent so they won't do it. I was in that same boat. I felt like I needed a woman next to me. I didn't want to be alone that night in that room. I was hearing voices when I was by myself, I felt. And having that warm body next to you, you felt like that's all your problems. Now, I want you to look up to see the percentage of how many people commit suicide like from mental health. And then like we gonna touch more on that because it's like suicide is definitely real. It's never a joke on how a person really feels. Like if a person said they're gonna kill themselves or they don't want to live, take that serious. Don't laugh. Don't tell them they weak. Cause somebody told me they felt like if you commit suicide or try to commit suicide, you are a weak person. Have you ever been in that predicament to know how that person feel? Have you ever tried to break that person's life down to see what they feeling? So don't judge that person.
Let's see. So right here, I'm seeing something that says from the Valley Health Foundation. So one person per day on average, and this is from, again, also 2018 when they did this research, one person a day usually on average dies from suicide on average. Now there's been, as of late, a 465% increase of people in the emergency room for anxiety and depression in the last several years, but nearly also 1 in 4 kids. 1 in 4 kids within the 7th and 8th grade also just committed suicide every year.
And while we at it, look up suicide for bullying. But like you ask yourself, like 1 is too many. We got to do something. Like I'm really trying to be the face of this. So if anybody home you watching this, and if I could do something, like reach out to me, like DM me, email me, like let me know what could I do. Let me know who can I talk to. If I got to go to a hospital and talk to people, if I got to go to a detention home and talk to people to get it right, because 1 is too many.
A little over 14% of students in high school consider suicide, and approximately 7% of them attempt suicide. And students that are bullied are around 2 to 9 times more likely to consider suicide than non-victims. And then there was actually even a study in Britain that they found that half of the suicides among young people are related to bullying.
And that is sad. Like, I ain't no angel growing up. I bully a lot of people. I did a lot of things that I'm not happy now that I'm older now, and I see life different. I see life in a different picture. Talk to your kids and stop bullying. Sometimes that kid that don't have them good Jordans or don't have them clean clothes, that stand in the corner, encourage your kids. If they the popular kid, go in the corner and talk to that kid. Let that kid know, like, we are friends. It's like bullying don't get you nowhere. You putting somebody in a tomb, like you putting somebody in a casket, 6 feet under, you hurting somebody's family because their life don't equal to yours, or they don't have the nice things that you have and others have. So why embarrass them? Mental health is real. It don't matter what age you are. A person could suffer with mental health. PTSD, anxiety, depression, all of that shit is real. So take it serious. And if you standing by, you see somebody bullying, interfere, step in. Tell them stop. Don't do that. Your voice matter. Everybody's voice matters. So not only kids can be bullied, adults can be bullied too. Social media is the biggest bully platform. So if you know this is what could cause you to get to that mode that you want to relapse, stay off it. Read a book. Figure out what you could do to come out that state of mind of suicide. Because I'm telling you, it's a terrible thing to face. It's nothing that I wouldn't want nobody to experience what I have experienced. And then looking at that video and that mother, she's crying and she's trying to find her baby boy. And it's like for a minute, it hit me different because it's like I closed my eyes and I could picture that shit. And it hurts. Like she going to the precinct. I just need help. I got to find my baby. She went to the morgue and they brought a picture out. And she crying because it was her baby boy. And it's like, she like, yo, I just want to see him. I just want to touch him. And the crazy thing about it, the way she found out where he was at, she called his phone and the coroner people picked up and let her know like they got her son. Like, how do you want to break that? Like, how is that news to break first thing in the morning? And then know what kills me is the girlfriend sends the message to the mother that she made fun of it. Oh, girl, he drove the car off the road. He's stupid. Like, you could have saved them. You laughing at somebody's problems, that shit ain't cool. Because now that's a life gone. Now, the finger should be pointed at you. Because you could have prevented that. You could have called his mother. Listen, your son going through, and the mother said it's numerous times he went through the stages of saying that he wanted to kill himself. Parents, I don't think I can honestly say if your kid is in that state of mind that he feel like he or she don't want to feel like they want to live, get them help. Talk to them. Take them out more. Take their mind off of that. See what the problem is. Try to solve it. Don't just let that shit just bypass. Because before you know it, you can wake up and your kid could be gone. Nobody want to experience that. Ask your kid what's the problem is. How can we solve this problem? What do you like to do? Literally take their mind off it. My problem, I couldn't see my son. I'm in the dark. I'm asking, why me? Because my life wasn't supposed to be like this. I just passed the EMT test and got shot. Like, this ain't supposed to be my life. And that's when that death got to be easy. Life must be hard. Because life is hard. It was going through my head. I tried to check out and take them pills. But when them pills went down my throat and I really started thinking like, I'm leaving my son behind. I'm leaving my brother behind. Who they gonna call when they need somebody? God forbid something happened to my mother. They gotta grow up to be adults because I checked out too early to even keep my hands on them. So much things was like going through my mind to a point I threw it up. They still took me to the hospital though. Would I do it again? Never. When I'm in the dark, I go outside, I be around love. When I'm feeling away, I read an audio book. Something ain't going right, I will call my brother, I will call my mother. Now I just think so much. I think about different things I could do. I don't got time to think about that depression side of the gate. I suffer with PTSD, I suffer with anxiety, and I suffer with depression. And I control it. When you go to the hospital, the only thing they want to do is throw pills down your throat. Sometimes you really don't need it. If you really need it, take it. But sometimes you really don't need it. Sometimes you just got to sit down and put your life in order and sit and say to myself, I'm stronger than this. I can overpower this. I know I can do this. 100%. I know usually I transition to dark to light. We ain't even going to do a dark to light. We're just going to run this whole episode straight through. I need somebody to get in touch with me because the suicide hotline, it's been around for so long that we need to remodel it and update it and spread this whole suicide thing out. Because I called the suicide hotline 2 times. If you got an iPhone, if you don't believe it, because I didn't look the number up, if you sit there and say, Call suicide hotline, Siri gonna call it. They had me on hold for 4 to 5 minutes. While I'm on the phone and I'm holding the phone and I'm crying, so much shit going through my head. And I'm like, within that 5 minutes, I could have checked the fuck out. But what I did, I put Rod Wave on. I'm listening to that song. I'm closing my eyes. I feel that pain that's coming through them headphones. I'm putting Meek Mills on. I'm putting Dirk on. And I sat there and I say to myself, I'm not the only one that's going through these problems. It's people around the world going through problems. What makes mine different? I hung up the phone. Start listening to music. I get in the shower. I come out. All my problems is gone now. I'm back to normal. Now I'm pacing the crib now. I'm trying to see what I'm going to eat. I'm texting people. It's just that dark moment, that devil came over me just for that one time to ride my back to make me feel like I wasn't meant to be here. The second time, I'm going crazy. I'm worrying about other people instead of worrying about yourself. Pretty much a relationship, because that shit can really bring you down, as you see. I'm rocking back and forth in the bed. I don't want to be alone. People don't understand. Everybody got a lot of things to say. Like I sat there and say, like, my mother definitely was one of those people that tried to solve every problem, knowing that the problems can't be solved all the time. You got to find ways just to go around it. Every night you lay in the bed next to your husband. My sister, every night you could lay in the bed whoever you want. My brother, my sister, my aunt. Y'all could lay in the bed. But me, I was having problems because I was in the dark. A lot of people didn't know how to approach me because I was blind. A lot of people didn't know what to do. So that shit was like, I tried to talk to a person, they pushed me away. They looked at me like I had COVID. And then like, damn, I'm rocking back and forth. Girls lying to you. And it's like, karma is a bitch, because this is shit I used to do. But it's like, I used to say to myself, like, why me? I'm a good person. I treated you right. So why are you going to be the one to try to hurt me? Why you want to be the one to put the nail in the coffin? Why you want to put me in that dirt? I called the suicide hotline. Rocking back and forth. I'm crying now. And it's like, I felt like every relationship I had was just gone. I got tired of depending on people. I got tired of people feeling sorry for me. I said this, I'm going to make everybody's life better. And I'm going to just take mines. Because now my mother don't have to worry about how my pain affecting her. My brother don't have to run around with me no more. My sister don't have to tippy-toe around me no more. My son gonna probably get that father figure that can take him to the park to shoot that basketball and do so much more. But then I turn the music back on and I'm listening. And I think, if I do this, my mother gonna be heartbroken. You could die from a broken heart. Who's to say the next man that come in my son's life gonna treat him like I would? Who's to say somebody gonna give my brother that advice he needs? Who like, it's so much I started thinking about, and I hung up the phone. Mind you, I was on the phone for 4 to 5 minutes and nobody clicked over and said, how can I help you? What's going on? What you So that's why I want to change the narrative. I want to change that whole scenery and start my own hotline if there is a way. And I want people around the world that's qualified, that can help somebody to walk them away from that edge to jumping off. I'm willing to do the work. I'm willing to put up the money. I'm willing to go broke to do it. 100%. Sometimes a person can kill themselves because they don't have the money to provide for their family, to give their kids that good life, to feed their kids. I done heard stories of people killing their kids and killing themselves because they didn't want nobody else to take care of their kids. They didn't want nobody. Sometimes you kill yourself, your kids going to these foster homes. These foster homes don't give a fuck about these kids. And I'm being straight real. It just be a check. They treat these kids bad. These kids get molested, raped, and so much more. So they'll take their kids too. So we got to find a better system and a better way to control this suicide. Let's turn that number 1 to 0. Let's turn let's take these percentages and bring them down. Now I'm trying to be the voice of it. So if there's any way, anything I can do, reach out to me. BBNIC _ that's Instagram and Twitter. BBNIC @gmail.com. Gmail.com. That's the Gmail. Email me. Let me know what we could do. Let me know if I got to come and speak to somebody. I'm willing to travel. I want my voice to be heard. The world is not big enough for my voice, I feel. So if I can't come to you right away, turn on my podcast. Email me. I will even reach out to give you my number to talk to you, to try to figure it out. What could we do to make things better? If I got to go on Zoom so you can see my face, do one-on-one, we could do that. It doesn't matter. Because it's always not good just to try to put a Band-Aid over a wound and you ain't clean it yet. You got to clean that Band-Aid. You got to put the Neosporin on. You got to clean the cut, put the Neosporin on, the peroxide, put the Band-Aid and let it heal proper. Don't just try to throw it over, or he's going to be all right, or she's going to be all right. That's not life. So let's do a change now. Blonde Poppy, I got a question for you. No, I got a question for y'all. Don't got a question for me on this episode. I got a question for you. Walk your house. Do that kid, ask your son, ask your daughter, are you being bullied? How was school today? Are you okay? Did the teachers treat you right? Because sometimes the work could be too hard that'll make a kid panic and feel like he or she just want to go. Check with your kids. You could stop that effect on them. It starts with us. If you're in a relationship, sometimes your significant other could be going through something and they keeping it inside. Now go out there, sit on that couch with them. What's going on? How was your day? How you feeling? If you know they not moving right and they moving different, don't ignore those signs. Do something about it. If you heard a person say they don't want to live, they going through something, they wish they wasn't here, they wish they had died, get them help. Talk to them. Be with them. Be that person's best friend because they need you. They not going to reach out to say they need you, but those key words letting you know they need you. Be there for them. But until I find a way to tighten up the system and make it better, if you're going through any problems and you just don't know what to do, call the suicide hotline number. Like, we're going to find ways to put it up on this episode to make it happen, to make it work.
And just for audio purposes, it is 1-800-273-8255.
See, that's why we got producers for. I definitely appreciate that for putting it out there. Like, reach out. Don't be scared. Because not facing your fears and facing your problems, you would definitely jump off that ledge, and we don't need none of that. We trying to lower these percentages. We trying to put frowns and disappointments and tears into smiles and tears of joy. I mean, we trying to change the narrative of everything. You feel me? And if you one of my family members, my friends, you going through this, call me. Holla at me. What could I do to make it better? Blonde Poppy is here. Blonde Lightning, I'm the superhero. Like, use me. Like, we walking by faith, not by sight. I mean, we holding hands, we spreading our circle out. It's nothing wrong it's nothing wrong about how you feel. You don't gotta be depressed about it. You could be depressed, but let me bring light to your life. And if you watching this podcast and you don't know me, we are a family too. You part of the Blonde Stepper community. So therefore, it's like, reach out to me. Hold hands with us. Let's make it work. But it definitely been real with y'all. If you think about your life being hard, think about me. If you feel like you in the dark, hold my hand. Let's cross over. Let's see that light. And if you feel like you a blonde stepper, you definitely rocking with Blonde Poppy. I am the host of FOB. I am the host of the Blonde BBNIC show. I am FOBC, the Hood Ray Charles, Blonde Poppy if you nasty, Blonde Lightning, the official blonde stepper. And we out into next week.